Ale Sandila currency I, Sufi aphorisms IBN E circumflex inverted question mark al is Kandari 1 of the signs of relying on one's own deeds is the loss of hope when a downfall occurs. 2 Your desire for isolation, even though God has put you in the world to gain a living, is a hidden passion, and your desire to gain a living in the world, even though God has put you in isolation, is a come down from lofty aspiration. 3 Antecedent intentions, sa a diaresis bik al-himam, cannot pierce the walls of predestined decrees. 4 Wrest yourself from self-direction, for what someone else has carried out on your behalf you must not yourself undertake to do it. 5 You're striving for what has already been guaranteed to you, and your remissness in what is demanded of you are signs of the blurring of your intellect. 6 If in spite of intense supplication, there is delay in the timing of the gift, let that not be the cause for your despairing, for he has guaranteed your response in what he chooses for you, not in what you choose for yourself, and at the time he desires, not the time you desire. IBN Ala a middle. Sufi aphorism 7 If what was promised does not occur, even though the time for its occurrence had been fixed, then that must not make you doubt the promise, otherwise your intellect will be obscured and the light of your innermost heart extinguished. 8 If he opens the door for you, thereby making himself known, pay no need if your deeds do not measure up to this, for, in truth, he has not opened it for you but out of a desire to make himself known to you. Do you not know that he is the one who presented the knowledge of himself to you, whereas you are the one who presented him with deeds? What a difference between what he brings to you and what you present to him. 9 Actions differ because the inspirations of the states of being differ. 10 Actions are lifeless forms, but the presence of an inner reality of sincerity. Sir Alec Lay Diaresis a superscript 1 pound. Within them is what endows them with life-giving spirit. 11 Bury your existence in the earth of obscurity, for whatever sprouts forth, without having first been buried, flowers imperfectly. 12 Nothing benefits the heart more than a spiritual retreat wherein it enters the domain of meditation. Mayday Diaresis and Ficra. 13 How can the heart be illumined while the forms of creatures are reflected in its mirror? Or how can it journey to God while shackled by its passions? Or how can it desire to enter the presence of God while it has not yet purified itself of the stain of forgetfulness? Or how can it understand the subtle points of mysteries while it has not yet repented of its offenses? 14 The cosmos is all darkness. It is illumined only by the manifestation of God in it. Whoever sees the cosmos and does not contemplate him in it or by it or before it or after it is in need of light and is veiled from the sun of gnosis by the clouds of created things. 15 That which shows you the existence of his omnipotence is that he veiled you from himself by what has no existence alongside of him. 16 How can it be conceived that something veils him, since he is the one who manifests everything? How can it be conceived that something veils him since he is the one who is manifest through everything? How can it be conceived that something veils him, since he is the one who is manifest in everything? How can it be conceived that something veils him, since he is the manifest to everything? How can it be conceived that something veils him, since he was the manifest before the existence of anything? How can it be conceived that something veils him, since he is more manifest than anything? How can it be conceived that something veils him, since he is the one alongside of whom there is nothing? How can it be conceived that something veils him, since he is nearer to you than anything else? How can it be conceived that something veils him, since, were it not for him, the existence of everything would not have been manifest? It is a marvel how being has manifested in non-being, and how the contingent has been established alongside of him who possesses the attribute of eternity. 17 He who wishes that there appear, at a given moment, other than what God has manifested in it, has not left ignorance behind at all. 18 Your postponement of deeds till the time when you are free is one of the frivolities of the ego. 19 Do not request him to get you out of a state so as to make use of you in a different one, for, were he to desire so, he could make use of you as you are, without taking you out. 20 Hardly does the intention of the initiate want to stop at what has been revealed to him, then the voices of reality call out to him, that which you are looking for is still ahead of you. And hardly do the exterior aspects of created beings display their charms, then their inner realities call out to him, we are only a trial, so disbelieve not. 21 Your requesting him is suspecting him. Your seeking him is due to your absence from him. Your seeking someone else is because of your immodesty toward him. Your requesting someone else is on account of your distance from him. 22 Not a breath do you expire, but the decree of destiny makes it go forth. 23 Do not look forward to being free of alterities, 1 For that is indeed what cuts you off from vigilant attention to him in that very state he has assigned to you. 24 So long as you are in the world, be not surprised at the existence of sorrows, for, truly, it manifests nothing but what is in keeping with its character or its inevitable nature. 25 No search pursued with the help of your Lord remains at a standstill, but any search pursued by yourself will not be fruitful. 26 Among the signs of success at the end is the turning to God at the beginning. 27 He who is illumined at the beginning is illumined at the end. 28 Whatever is deposited in the invisible world of innermost hearts is manifested in the visible world of phenomena. 29 What a difference between one who proceeds from God in his argumentation and one who proceeds inferentially to him. He who has him as his starting point knows the real as it is, and proves any matter by reference to the being of its origin. But inferential argumentation comes from the absence of union with him. Otherwise, when was it that he became absent that one has to proceed inferentially to him? Or when was it that he became distant that created things themselves will unite us to him? 30 Those who are united with him, let him who has abundance spend out of his abundance. Those who are voyaging toward him, and whoever has his means of subsistence straitened. 31 Those who are voyaging to him are guided by the lights of their orientation, whereas those who are united to him have the lights of face-to-face confrontation. The former belong to their lights, whereas the lights belong to the latter, for they belong to God and to nothing apart from him. Say, Allah. Then let them prattling in their vain talk. 32 Your being on the lookout for the vices hidden within you is better than your being on the lookout for the invisible realities veiled from you. 33 The real is not veiled from you. Rather, it is you who are veiled from seeing it, for, were anything to veil it, then that which veils it would cover it, but if there were a covering to it, then that would be a limitation to its being. Every limitation to anything has power over it, and he is the omnipotent, above his servants. 34 Among the attributes of your human nature, draw away from everyone that is incompatible with your servanthood, so that you may be responsive to the call of God and near his presence. 35 The source of every disobedience, indifference, and passion is self-satisfaction. The source of every obedience, vigilance, and virtue is dissatisfaction with oneself. It is better for you to keep company with an ignorant man dissatisfied with himself than to keep company with a learned man satisfied with himself. For what knowledge is there in a self-satisfied scholar, and what ignorance is there in an unlearned man dissatisfied with himself? 36 The ray of light of the intellect makes you witness his nearness to you. The eye of the intellect makes you witness your non-being as due to his being. The truth of the intellect makes you witness his being, not your non-being, nor your being. 37 God was, and there was nothing with him, and he is now as he was. 38 Let not the intention of your aspirations shift to what is other than he, for one's hopes cannot outstrip the generous. 39 Appeal to no one but him to relieve you of a pressing need that he himself has brought upon you, for how can someone else remove what he has imposed, and how can he who is unable to free himself of a pressing need free someone else of one? 40 If you have not improved your thinking of him because of his ineffable nature, improve it because of his treatment of you. For has he accustomed you to anything but what is good, and has he conferred upon you anything but his favors? 41 How astonishing is he who flees from what is inescapable and searches for what is evanescent, for surely it is not the eyes that are blind, but blind are the hearts which are in the chests. 42 Travel not from creature to creature, otherwise you will be like a donkey at the mill, round about he turns, his goal the same as his departure. Rather, go from creatures to the Creator, and that the final end is unto thy Lord. Consider the prophet's words, God bless him and grant him peace. Therefore, he whose flight is for God and his messenger, then his flight is for God and his messenger, and he whose flight is for worldly gain or marriage with a woman, then his flight is for that which he flees to. So understand his words, upon him peace, and ponder this matter, if you can, and peace on you. 43 Do not keep company with anyone whose state does not inspire you and whose speech does not lead you to God. 44 You might be in a bad state then, associating with one who is in a worse state, you see virtue in yourself. 45 No deed arising from a renouncing heart is small, and no deed arising from an avaricious heart is fruitful. 46 Good works are the result of good states. Good states arise from the stations wherein abide those who have spiritual realization. 47 Do not abandon the invocation because you do not feel the presence of God therein, for your forgetfulness of the invocation of Him is worse than your forgetfulness in the invocation of Him. Perhaps He will take you from an invocation with forgetfulness to one with vigilance, and from one with vigilance to one with the presence of God, and from one with the presence of God to one wherein everything but the invoked is absent, and that is not difficult for God. 48 The sign of the heart's death is the absence of sadness over the acts of obedience you have neglected and the abandonment of regret over the mistakes you have made. 49 Let no sin reach such proportions in your eyes that it cuts you off from having a good opinion of God, for, indeed, whoever knows his Lord considers his sin as paltry next to his generosity. 50 There is no minor sin when his justice confronts you, and there is no major sin when his grace confronts you. 51 No deed is more fruitful for the heart than the one you are not aware of and which is deemed paltry by you. 52 He only made an inspiration come upon you so that you would go to him. 53 He made an inspiration come upon you so as to get you out of the grip of authorities and free you from bondage to created things. 54 He made an inspiration come upon you so as to take you out of the prison of your existence into the unlimited space of your contemplation. 55 Lights are the riding mounts of hearts and of their innermost centers. 56 Light is the army of the heart, just as darkness is the army of the soul. So when God wishes to come to the help of his servant, he furnishes him with armies of lights and cuts off from him the reinforcements of darkness and alterities. 57 Insight, kashf, belongs to light, discernment, a sadilyanuk, to the intellect, by superscript 1 pound a diaresis ra, and both progression and retrogression belong to the heart. 58 Let not obedience make you joyous because it comes from you, but rather, be joyous over it because it comes from God to you. Say, in the grace of God and in his mercy, in that they should rejoice. It is better than that which they hoard. 59 He prevents those who are voyaging to him from witnessing their deeds and those who are united with him from contemplating their states. He does that for the voyagers because they have not realized sincerity toward God in those works, and he does that for those united with him because he makes them absent from contemplating those states by contemplating him. 60 Were it not for the seeds of ambitious desire, the branches of disgrace would not be lofty. 61 Nothing leads you so much like suspicion. 1. 62 In your despairing, you are a free man, but in your coveting, you are a slave. 63 Whoever does not draw near to God as a result of the caresses of love is shackled to him with the chains of misfortune. 64 Whoever is not thankful for graces runs the risk of losing them, and whoever is thankful, fetters them with their own cords. 65 Be fearful lest the existence of his generosity toward you and the persistence of your bad behavior toward him not lead you step by step to ruin. We shall lead them to ruin step by step from whence they know not. 66 It is ignorance on the part of the novice to act improperly, and then, his punishment having been delayed, to say, if this had been improper conduct, he would have shut off help and imposed exile. Help could be withdrawn from him without his being aware of it, if only by blocking its increase, and it could be that you are made to abide at a distance without your knowing it, if only by his leaving you to do as you like. 67 If you see a servant whom God has made to abide in the recitation of litanies, or a diaresis, and prolonged his help therein, do not disdain what his Lord has given him on the score that you do not detect the signs of Gnostics on him nor the splendor of God's lovers, for had there been no inspiration, there would have been no litany. Word. 68 God makes some people remain in the service of him, and he singles out others to love him. All do we aid of these as well as do thee out of the bounty of thy Lord, and the bounty of thy Lord is not limited. 69 It is rare that divine inspirations come except suddenly, and this, so that they be protected from servants claiming them by virtue of the existence of receptivity on their part. 70 And for the presence of ignorance in anyone whom you see answering all that he is asked or giving expression to all that he witnesses or mentioning all that he knows. 71 He made the hereafter an abode to reward his believing servants only because this world cannot contain what he wishes to bestow upon them and because he deemed their worth too high to reward them in a world without permanence. 72 Whoever finds the fruit of his deeds coming quickly has proof of the fact of acceptance. 73 If you want to know your standing with him, look at the state he has put you in now. 74 When he gives you obedience, making you unaware of it because of him, then know that he has showered you liberally with his graces both inwardly and outwardly. 75 The best that you can seek from him is that which he seeks from you. 76 One of the signs of delusion is sadness over the loss of obedience coupled with an absence of resolve to bring it back to life. 77 The Gnostic is not one who, when making a symbolic illusion, finds God nearer to himself than his symbolic illusion. Rather, the Gnostic is the one who, because of his self-extinction in his being and self-absorption in contemplating him, has no symbolic illusion. 78 Hope goes hand in hand with deeds, otherwise it is just wishful thinking. 79 That which the Gnostics seek from God is sincerity in servanthood and performance of the rights of lordship. 80 He expanded you so as not to keep you in contraction, he contracted you so as not to keep you in expansion, and he took you out of both so that you not belong to anything apart from him. 81 It is more dreadful for Gnostics to be expanded than to be contracted, for only a few can stay within the limits of proper conduct in expansion. 82 Through the existence of joy the soul gets its share in expansion, but there is no share for the soul in contraction. 83 Sometimes he gives while depriving you, and sometimes he deprives you in giving. 84 When he opens up your understanding of deprivation, deprivation becomes the same as giving. 85 Outwardly, creatures are an illusion, but, inwardly, they are an admonition. Thus, the soul looks at the illusory exterior while the heart looks at the admonitory interior. 86 If you want a glory that does not vanish, then do not glory in a glory that vanishes. 87 The real journey is when the world's dimensions are rolled away from you so that you see the hereafter closer to you than yourself. 88 A gift from man is deprivation, but deprivation from God is beneficence. 89 Our Lord is far above the servant dealing with him in cash, and his repaying him in credit. 90 It is reward enough for worship that he has accepted you as worthy of it. 91 Reward enough for workers is what he disclosed unto their hearts in his worship, and that which he shows them of his kindliness. 92 Whoever worships him for something they hope from him, or obeys him to keep chastisement from coming to themselves, has not given his attributes their due. 93 When he gives to you he shows you his kindness, and when he denies you he is showing you irresistible power. So in both he is disclosing himself to you, and drawing nigh with his loving kindness unto you. 94 Deprivation hurts you only because of your incomprehension of God in it. 95 Sometimes he opens the door of obedience for you, but not the door of acceptance, or sometimes he condemns you to sin, and it turns out to be a cause for union with God. 96 A disobedience that bequeaths humiliation and extreme need is better than an obedience that bequeaths self-infatuation and pride. 97 There are two graces that no being can do without and that are necessary for every creature, the grace of existence, and the grace of sustenance. 98 He bestowed his grace upon you, first, through giving you existence, and, second, through uninterrupted sustenance. 99 Your indigence belongs to you essentially, for accidents do not abolish essential indigence. The trials that arrive in this world are but reminders to you of what you ignore of indigence. 100 Your best moment is the one wherein you witness your actual indigence and, through it, reach the reality of your lowliness. 101 Whenever he alienates you from his creatures, realize that he wants to open for you the door of intimacy with him. 102 Whenever he releases your tongue to ask, know that he wants to give to you. 103 The duress of the Gnostic never departs, and he finds no rest in anything but God. 104 He has illumined outward appearances with the lights of his created vestiges and illumined inmost hearts with the lights of his attributes. This is why the lights of created vestiges set at night, but the lights of hearts and inmost souls never set, and why it has been said, the daytime sun goes down at night, but the sun of Gnostic hearts could never goes down. 105 Let the pain of tribulation be lightened for you by knowing that it is He most glorious who is making trial of you, for Him from whom you are faced with the blows of fate is He who has accustomed you to His choosing well. 106 Whoever thinks his loving kindness is ever separated from His ordaining fate, does so out of short-sightedness. 107 It is not to be feared that the paths will confuse you, but only that whims will defeat you. 108 Glorious beyond ken is He who has veiled the secret of elected in the appearance of humanness, and who is manifest through the mightiness of lordship in the very showing of one's slavehood. 109 Take not your Lord to task that what you seek is slow in coming, but take yourself to task that your manners are slow in coming. 110 Whenever He makes you obedient outwardly to His command and bestows you surrender inwardly to His irresistible power, He has shown you largesse beyond thanking. 111 Not everyone truly of the elect has yet been freed of shortcomings. 112 Only the ignorant man scorns the recitation of litany. Inspiration is to be found in the hereafter, while the litany vanishes with the vanishing of this world, but it's more fitting to be occupied with something for which there is no substitute. The litany is what He seeks from you, the inspiration is what you seek from Him. What comparison is there between what He seeks from you and what you seek from Him? 113 The arrival of sustenance is in accordance with receptivity, while the raying out of lights is in accordance with the purity of the innermost being. 114 When the forgetful man gets up in the morning, he reflects on what he is going to do, whereas the intelligent man sees what God is doing with him. 115 The devotees and ascetics are alienated from everything only because of their absence from God in everything. Had they contemplated Him in everything, they would not have been alienated from anything. 116 He commanded you in this world to reflect upon His creations, but in the hereafter He will reveal to you the perfection of His essence. 117 When He knew that you would not renounce Him, He made you contemplate that which issues from Him. 118 Since God knows the occurrence of weariness on your part, He has varied the acts of obedience for you, and since He knows of the occurrence of impulsiveness in you, He has limited them to specific times, so that your concern be with the performance of ritual prayer, not with the existence of the ritual prayer. Not everyone who prays performs well. 119 Ritual prayer is a purification for hearts and an opening up the door of the invisible domains. 120 Ritual prayer is the place of intimate conversations and a mine of reciprocal acts of purity, wherein the regions of the innermost being are expanded and the rising gleams of light shine forth. He knows of the existence of weakness in you, so He made the number of ritual prayers small, and He knew of your need of His grace, so He multiplied their fruitful results. 121 When you seek recompense for a deed, the reality of sincerity in it is demanded of you in return. As for the insincere, the feeling of security from chastisement suffices him. 122 Do not seek recompense for a deed whose doer was not you. It suffices you as recompense for the deed that He accepts it. 123 When He wants to show His grace to you, He creates states in you and attributes them to you. 124 Were He to make you go back to yourself, there would be no end to the reasons for blaming you, and were He to manifest His beneficence toward you, there would be no end to the reasons for praising you. 125 Cling to the attributes of His lordship and realize the attributes of your servanthood. 126 He has prohibited you from claiming for yourself, among the qualities of created beings, that which does not belong to you, so would He permit you to lay claim to His attribute, He who is the Lord of the universe. 127 How can the laws of nature be ruptured for you so that miracles result, while you, for your part, have yet to rupture your bad habits? 128 The point at issue is not the fact of searching, rather, the point at issue is that you be provisioned with virtuous conduct. 129 Nothing pleads on your behalf like extreme need, nor does anything speed gifts to you quicker than lowliness and want. 130 If you were to be united with Him only after the extinction of your voices and the effacement of your pretensions, you would never be united with Him. Instead, when He wants to unite you to Himself, He covers your attribute with his attribute and hides your quality with his quality, and thus he unites you to himself by virtue of what comes from him to you, not by virtue of what goes from you to him. 131 Were it not for the kindliness of his veiling, no deed would be worthy of acceptance. 132 You are more in need of his forbearance when you obey him than you are when you disobey him. 133 Veiling is of two kinds, veiling of disobedience, and veiling in it. Common people seek God's veiling in disobedience out of the fear of falling in rank among mankind. The elect seek the veiling of disobedience out of the fear of falling from the sight of God, the true King. 134 Whoever honors you honors only the beauty of his veil in you. Therefore, praise is to him who veiled you, not to the one who honored and thanked you. 135 No one is a friend of yours except the one who, while knowing your defects, is your companion, and that is only your generous master. The best one to have as a friend is he who does not seek you out for the sake of something coming from you to him. 136 Were the light of certitude to shine, you would see the hereafter so near that you could not move toward it, and you would see that the eclipse of extinction had come over the beauties of the world. 137 It is not the existence of any being alongside of him that veils you from God, for nothing is alongside of him. Rather, what veils you from him is the illusion of a being alongside of him. 138 Had it not been for his manifestation in created beings, eyesight would not have perceived them. Had his qualities been manifested, his created beings would have disappeared. 139 He manifests everything because he is the interior, and he conceals the existence of everything because he is the exterior. 140 He has permitted you to reflect on what is in created beings, but he has not allowed you to stop at the selfsame creatures. Say, behold what is in the heavens and the earth. Thus, with his words, behold what is in the heaven. He has opened up the door of instruction for you. But he did not say, behold the heavens, so as not to lead you to the mere existence of bodies. 141 The universe is permanent through his making it permanent, and it is annihilated by the unity of his essence. 142 People praise you for what they suppose is in you, but you must blame your soul for what you know is in it. 143 When the believer is praised, he is ashamed before God that he should be lauded for an attribute he does not see in himself. 144 The most ignorant of all people is the one who abandons the certitude he has for an opinion people have. 145 When he lets praise of you burst forth, and you are not worthy of it, praise him for what he is worthy of. 146 When ascetics are praised, they are contracted, for they witness the praise as coming from mankind. But when Gnostics are praised, they are expanded, for they witness the praise as coming from the true King. 147 If when given something, the giving expands you, and if when deprived of something, the deprivation contracts you, then take that as proof of your immaturity and the insincerity of your servanthood. 148 When a sin is committed by you, do not let it make you despair of attaining uprightness with your Lord, for that one may the last ever destined for you to commit. 149 When you want him to open you the door of hope, behold what is from him to you. And if you want him to open you the door of fear, behold what is from you to him. 150 He often benefits you in the night of distress, what you have not benefited in the dawning of the daytime of elation. You know not which of them is nearer in benefit to you. 151 The horizons whence illuminations ascend are hearts and souls. 152 A light is reposited in hearts that is maintained by the light coming from the treasuries of the unseen. 153 There is a light by which he shows you his effects, and a light by which he shows you his attributes. 154 Hearts sometimes halt with lights, just as selves are veiled by the opacity of things besides him. 155 He has veiled the lights of inward souls with the coarseness of outward appearances out of reverence for them, lest they be made low in common by being divulged, or be called on aloud by the tongue of fame. 156 Glory be to him who does not guide to his friends except whom he wills, and he does not make anyone reach his friends except he whom he wishes to make reach him. 157 Perhaps he let you see the unseen metaphysical world but veiled you from seeing the secrets of his servants. 158 Whoever sees the secrets of the servants and does not try to imitate divine mercy, His seeing such is a trial for him and a reason for misfortune to befall him. 159 The portion of the lower self in acts of disobedience is plain and known, while its portion in acts of worship is hidden and secret, and treating a hidden disease is difficult. 160 Perhaps showing off in good works has entered upon you from why people do not see you. 161 Your wanting people to know your specialness is a proof for your lack of truthfulness in your slavehood. 162 Vanish from sight the eyes of people on you with the eye of God on you, and be absent from their coming towards you by seeing God approaching you. 163 Whoever knows the truth witnesses him in everything. Whoever is annihilated in him is absent from everything, and whoever loves him does not prefer anything over him. 164 The truth is only veiled from you due to his being extremely close. 165 He is only veiled from you due to his being too obvious, and he is hidden from physical sight due to the tremendous light of his entity. 166 Do not suppose your supplication will cause him to give lest your understanding suffer. Rather, supplicate to him to show your slavehood and to fulfill the rights of his lordship. 167 How can your later supplication be a cause for his predestined giving? 168 A pre-eternal command is high above needing an external cause. 169 His special concern for you is not due to anything you have done. Where were you?
menuju ke Allah. Bisa secara sholat, baca Quran, puasa, yang saya banget. Tapi numpang terena, tina berbagai cara analisis diri Allah berada di luar ini. Arti itu akrobat dulu di ilmu ta'ala dikiranya merupakan jalan mengambilnya menuju ta'ala. Jika Allah mengadakan Rasulullah dari proses simuloba eli, simuloba mikir Allah. Menjadi permasalahan jelma sok bosen, sok ayat bosenan, sehingga iri dan iri. Salah sahih menjadi iri faktorna salila dikir diri sebisa ngarasakeun hadirna Allah dina dikirna sehingga boga rasa jangan mikir, sehingga boga rasa percuma dikir oge sabab dina dikirna oge pokok Allah. Tinalaran itu mu'adilna dikir Allah cek musomi la taktu azikro li adami hudud Allah ulah dikir Allah sok sanaja dina dikirna urang bisa ngarasakeun hadirna Allah. Namun menjadi sabab pokoknya udah Allah berpikir lebih bahaya daripada pokoknya udah Allah dibandingkan berpikir. Kurang berpikir la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. Kurang berpikir subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Kalilah kurang berpikir astagfirullah, alhamdulillah. Bibir ngobrol subhanallah tapi hati tadi Bila ngobrol asal jiwa tapi hati nanti istighfar. Bila ngobrol Allah akbar tapi hati nanti bisa ngerasakan akbarnya Allah. Lumayan daripada lisan sudah mikir hati oleh mikir. Ulah berzikir Allah beda sahabat itu. Sabab bahaya kene lisan mikir hati berzikir daripada lisan mikir hati berzikir. Sok dulu itu mikirnya, sok dulu itu baca sholawatnya, sok ada jadi lisan itu. Fasa ya faham diterima awal tapi tidak diterima awal yang berbeda. Mudah-mudahan awal akhir mengalina lisan lumpur al-fikir. Allah diangkat jadi hakikat itu. Kalau sahabatnya faduruni al-qur'u Allah ngadau faduruni al-qur'u ciri Allah maka Allah bakal memperhatikan kita. Allah memperhatikan abadna anu daek pikir Allah. Faduruni al-qur'u Fala bina ayat Tuhan wala zikrullahi akbar. Kurang membicarakan Allah, jika Allah membicarakan kurang lebih berbobot kene. Allah membicarakan kurang daripada kurang membicarakan Allah. Kurang lebih nasihatnya, kurang ngobrol dengan pamimpin, jauh pamimpin ngobrol dengan kurang. Lebih berbobot mana? Lebih viral mana? Kurang nanti KBA orang ngobrol dengan pamimpin. Kejadian apa? Beda diri ketika pamimpin ngobrol dengan Tuhan. Sepuluh menit KBA sholat, 10 menit KBA jam 2 jam cukup, 5 menit cukup, 30 detik. Wah, kapan si ada juga kan kapan si ada tersebut di pamimpin viral kemana-mana. Takwa itu di akbar. Saling Al-Quran menyebutkan Allah bisa Allah menyebutkan kurang berharga saat Allah menyebutkan kurang. Wala itu tapi ada pula disebut Allah bina Allah itu ada berusaha disebut Allah bina Allah dan disebut Allah bina Allah hadir macam Abu Lahab Fir'aun Allah disebut dina Al-Quran, tapi terjadi salah sekali. Nado terjadi kesilapan sabab disebut nama Allah dina Al-Quran. Maka walazikrullah akbar, nyebutna Allah kaula kaamba demi berkumpul naon sababna lamun dina ade moal aya dina adena, tapi lamun dina celaka maka bakal dijamin ketika ada Allah bakal celaka. Nabi Muhammad disebut Allah dina Al-Quran, para nabi disebut Allah dina Al-Quran, dina Al-Ahadian, sehingga di ayat dina Al-Ahadian Abdullah disebut Allah dina Al-Quran, Fir'aun disebut Allah dina Al-Quran, tapi dina Al-Ahadian ketika Fir'aun dijamin Allah di Fir'aun celaka. Inilah soal dan Al-Quran dengan Al-Quran lisan ulah berpikir supaya sabab Allah kawasan maka Al-Quran kurang lain dengan Al-Quran lisan Al-Quran tetap kami aja beliau manfaat dari hubungan Allah sekalian. Kurang saja karena bahwa Bapak dan anak juga tak perlu muhasabah dan soal belajar masa minimal takwa ini abaikan hadir nanti sabar goreng nanti sabar berwin nanti pulang mana pulang nanti pulang mana kita usaha berang halaman tadi menetapkan ibadah buat belum korban meninggalkan ada betul dia korban meninggalkan boleh nenek satu awal nenek satu bantu diajar dengan kaki supaya ini bermukakan dengan curang supaya ini bermukakan asal supaya ini berbagai jaringan berbagai bahasa Al-Quran dan kawan juga kurang masih ada ini lihat ambil sebuah perkara ini buat bermakna ini buat ini juga bermasalahnya juga belajar sampai kurang belajar di alam dari jannah ada di naungan Allah di alam dari jannah ada di naungan Allah di alam dari jannah tempat Nas'aluka Allahumma bikaromatihim al-Fatihah. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Thumma ila amwali masyayikhina wa masyayikhi masyayikhina wa mu'allifil kutubi allati ta'allamna wa 'allamna wa mu'allafatihim. Allahumma ja'alhum ala ta'umihim wa tawbatana tawbatihim wa khatimana khawatimihim. Nas'aluka Allahumma an tanfa'ana bi ulumihim naf'an mubarakan lana wa lidinika wa linnasi ajma'in. Al-Fatihah. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Thumma ila arwahi abaina wa ummahatina wa ajdadina wa jaddatina.
iyyaka nasta'in ihdinas siratal mustaqim siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin.
Kemudian tahu فَإِنَّا سُؤَالَنَا وَتَعْلَمُ مَا فِي أَنفُسِنَا فَاغْفِرْ لَنَا ذُنُوبَنَا وَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ يَاسِينَ وَالْقُرْآنِ الْحَكِيمِ إِنَّكَ لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ عَلَى صِرَاطٍ مُّسْتَقِيمٍ تَنزِيلَ الْعَزِيزِ الرَّحِيمِ لِتُنذِرَ قَوْمًا مَّا
Ja'akum rasulun min anfusikum azizun 'alaihi ma 'anittum harisun 'alaikum bil mu'minina raufur rahim. Fa in tawallaw faqul hasbiyallah la ilaha illa hu 'alaihi tawakkaltu wa huwa rabbul 'arsyil 'azim. Azizun 'alaihi ma 'anittum harisun 'alaikum bil mu'minina raufur rahim. Fa in tawallaw faqul hasbiyallah la ilaha illa hu 'alaihi tawakkaltu wa huwa rabbul 'arsyil 'azim. Laqad ja'akum rasulun min anfusikum azizun 'alaihi ma 'anittum harisun 'alaikum bil mu'minina raufur rahim. Fa in tawallaw faqul hasbiyallah la ilaha illa hu 'alaihi tawakkaltu wa huwa rabbul 'arsyil 'azim. Allahumma la mani'a lima a'taita wa la mu'tiya lima mana'ta wa la radda liman qadaita wa la yanfa'u dzal jaddi minkal jadd. Allahumma la mani'a lima a'taita wa la mu'tiya lima mana'ta wa la radda liman qadaita wa la yanfa'u dzal jaddi minkal jadd. Allahumma la mani'a lima a'taita wa la mu'tiya lima mana'ta wa la radda liman qadaita wa la yanfa'u dzal jaddi minkal hadiyatan minna ila arwahi madhurin wa li jami'il muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat wal mujahidina wal mujahidat wal mutasaddiqina wal mutasaddiqat Allahumma ighfir lahum warhamhum wa'afihim wa'fu anhum wa akrim nuzulahum wa wasi' qabrahum waj'al al-jannata hiya ma'wahum wa abdilhum bil ma'i wal thalji wal barakatin minal mubarakati minal fadlul abyad minal jannah Allahumma la tahrimna ajrahum wa la taftina ba'dahum wa'fir lana wa lahum Allahumma anzil rahmatan ala ahli al-qubur min ahli la ilaha illallah Muhammadur sallallahu alaihi wasallam subhanallahi rabbil alamin wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin al-fatihah.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, let's say many thanks to our God, Allah SWT, who has given us chance and health so we can gather in this blessing place without any trouble. And don't forget to send shalawat and salam to our beloved Nabi Muhammad which has brought us from the darkness to the lightness by Islam religion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take your time for a moment to give my speech entitled Teenagers' Moral and Islam. Dear audiences, rahimakumullah. What do you think about teenagers' moral in this age? Maybe some of you think that it's fine, but however there are many teenagers have been depraved. They run to drugs, commit suicide, drink alcohol, smoking, and so on. Those are spreading as teenagers' bad moral. But the question is, why would this happen? This is happening because our young generations are very far from Islam. But in fact, Rasulullah was here to fix human moral, as in hadiths from Abu Hurairah r.a. He said, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, in fact, I was sent only to improve the good moral. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, teenagers are the most important part for the growth of our country. We are the new generation. So if every teenagers have a bad moral, our country will fall soon. That's why we have to save our young generation. One of the solutions to keep and to save our young generation from the bad effect of the globalization era is by giving them Islamic education as much as possible. So, we can't only provide the academic education, but also Islamic education. Yes, you can find a lot of brilliant people in this world, but without moral they are nothing. Because moral is everything and we are the only one who choose our moral, neither good or bad it is. As in Quran, 8th of AC Siams, then he gave in life, a tendency to do bad carnality, and a tendency to do the greatest. Therefore you do not need to blame the paw. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, let's say many thanks to our God, Allah SWT, who has given us chance and health so we can gather in this blessing place without any trouble. And don't forget to send shalawat and salam to our beloved Nabi Muhammad which has brought us from the darkness to the lightness by Islam religion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take your time for a moment to give my speech entitled Teenagers' Moral and Islam. Dear audiences, Rahimakumullah. What do you think about teenagers' moral in this age? Maybe some of you think that it's fine, but however there are many teenagers have been depraved. They run to drugs, commit suicide, drink alcohol, smoking, and so on. Those are spreading as teenagers' bad moral. But the question is, why would this happen? This is happening because our young generations are very far from Islam. But in fact, Rasulullah SAW was here to fix human moral as in hadiths from Abu Hurairah R.A. He said, Rasulullah Shallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, in fact, I was sent only to improve the good moral. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, teenagers are the most important part for the growth of our country. Allah SWT, we are the new generation. Chance and health so we can gather in this blessing place without any trouble. Will fall soon. And don't forget to send shalawat our young generation, our beloved Nabi Muhammad which has saved our young generation to the lightness by Islam. The globalization era is by giving them Islamic education as much as possible. To give my speech entitled we can't Teenagers provide the academic education, but also Islamic education. What do you think about you can find a lot of brilliant people in this world, maybe some of you think that they are nothing, but however there are many teenagers have been depraved, and we are the only one who choose our morals, neither good or bad. Drink alcohol, smoking, as in Quran, and so on. 8th of AC Siam. Those are spreading as teenagers bad tendency to do bad carnality, why would this tendency to do this the greatest? This is happening because our young generations are very far from Islam. But in fact, Rasulullah SAW was here to fix human moral as in hadiths from Abu Hurairah R.A. He said, Rasulullah Shallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, in fact, I was sent only to improve the good moral. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, teenagers are the most important part for the growth of our country. We are the new generation. So if every teenagers have a bad moral, our country will fall soon. That's why we have to save our young generation. One of the solutions to keep and to save our young generation from the bad effect of the globalization era is by giving them Islamic education as much as possible. So, we can't only provide the academic education, but also Islamic education. Yes, you can find a lot of brilliant people in this world, but without moral they are nothing. Because moral is everything and we are the only one who choose our moral, neither good or bad it is. As in Quran, 8th of AC Siams, then he gave in life, a tendency to do bad carnality, and a tendency to do the greatest. Therefore you do not need to blame the paw. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, let's say many thanks to our God, Allah SWT, who has given us chance and health so we can gather in this blessing place without any trouble. And don't forget to send shalawat and salam to our beloved Nabi Muhammad which has brought us from the darkness to the lightness by Islam religion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take your time for a moment to give my speech entitled Teenagers' Moral and Islam. Dear audiences, Rahimakumullah. What do you think about teenagers' moral in this age? Maybe some of you think that it's fine, but however there are many teenagers have been depraved. They run to drugs, commit suicide, drink alcohol, smoking, and so on. Those are spreading as teenagers' bad moral. But the question is, why would this happen? This is happening because our young generations are very far from Islam. But in fact, Rasulullah SAW was here to fix human moral as in hadiths from Abu Hurairah R.A. He said, Rasulullah Shallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, in fact, I was sent only to improve the good moral. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, teenagers are the most important part for the growth of our country. We are the new generation. So if every teenagers have a bad moral, our country will fall soon. That's why we have to save our young generation. One of the solutions to keep and to save our young generation from the bad effect of the globalization era is by giving them Islamic education as much as possible. So, we can't only provide the academic education, but also Islamic education. Yes, you can find a lot of brilliant people in this world, but without moral they are nothing. Because moral is everything and we are the only one who choose our moral, neither good or bad it is. As in Quran, 8th of AC Siams, then he gave in life, a tendency to do bad carnality, and a tendency to do the greatest. Therefore you do not need to blame the paw.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياؤهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله فيغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء والله على كل شيء قدير آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله والحمد لله لا شريك له لا إله إلا هو وإليه النشور. أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله والحمد لله لا شريك له لا إله إلا هو وإليه النشور. أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله والحمد لله لا شريك له لا إله إلا هو وإليه النشور. أصبحنا على فطرة الإسلام وكلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. أصبحنا على فطرة الإسلام وكلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. أصبحنا على فطرة الإسلام وكلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. اللهم إني أصبحت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فاتم علي نعمتك وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة اللهم إني أصبحت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فاتم علي نعمتك وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة اللهم إني أصبحت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فاتم علي نعمتك وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة اللهم ما أصبح بي من نعمة أو بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك فلك الحمد ولك الشكر اللهم ما أصبح بي من نعمة أو بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك فلك الحمد ولك الشكر اللهم ما أصبح بي من نعمة أو بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك فلك الحمد ولك الشكر يا ربي لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك يا ربي لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك يا ربي لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد نبيا ورسولا رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد نبيا ورسولا رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد نبيا ورسولا سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من أن نشرك بك شيئا نعلمه ونستغفرك لما لا نعلمه اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من أن نشرك بك شيئا نعلمه ونستغفرك لما لا نعلمه اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من أن نشرك بك شيئا نعلمه ونستغفرك لما لا نعلمه أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات التامات من شر ما خلق اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن وأعوذ بك من العجز والكسل وأعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن وأعوذ بك من العجز والكسل وأعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن وأعوذ بك من العجز والكسل وأعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال اللهم عافني في بدني اللهم عافني في سمعي اللهم عافني في بصري اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الكفر والفقر اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر لا إله إلا أنت اللهم عافني في بدني اللهم عافني في سمعي اللهم عافني في بصري اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الكفر والفقر اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر لا إله إلا أنت اللهم عافني في بدني اللهم عافني في سمعي اللهم عافني في بصري اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الكفر والفقر اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر لا إله إلا أنت اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإن أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ونبيك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما عدد ما أحاط به علمك وخط به قلمك وأحصاه كتابك وارض اللهم عن ساداتنا أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعن الصحابة أجمعين وعن التابعين وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين قل اللهم مالك الملك تؤتي الملك من تشاء وتنزع الملك ممن تشاء وتعز من تشاء وتذل من تشاء بيدك الخير كل شيء قدير تولج الليل في النهار وتولج النهار في الليل وتخرج الحي من الميت وتخرج الميت من الحي وترزق من تشاء بغير حساب اللهم إن هذا إقبال نهارك وإدبار ليلك وأصوات دعاتك فاغفر لي اللهم إنك تعلم أن هذه القلوب قد اجتمعت على محبتك والتقت على طاعتك وتوحدت على دعوتك وتعاهدت على نصرة شريعتك فوثق اللهم رابطتها وأدم ودها واهدها سبلها واملأها بنورك الذي لا يخبو واشرح صدورها بفيض الإيمان بك وجميل توكل عليك وأحيها بمعرفتك وأحيها بمعرفتك وأحيها بمعرفتك وأمتها على الشهادة في سبيلك وأمتها على الشهادة في سبيلك وأمتها على الشهادة في سبيلك إنك نعم المولى ونعم النصير اللهم آمين وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا والحمد لله رب العالمين.